Alrighty, this is Diesel with People News. One more time at it, okay? Um, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give you legal advice, okay? Anything I say or do is just my opinion, okay? Do your own research, okay? It's educational purposes only. So anything I say that sounds like an order or I say facts, you guys still take it as opinion. I'm just going to do an attorney trick of words. Hi, because this is actually pretty interesting on my outlook because we don't get this in Texas, y'all. Over and over and over, I tell you that everybody in jail is illegally there because they actually do not follow the criminal codes 14, 15, and 16. Okay? So, recap 14 and 15, with or without a warrant, is to be taken to the nearest magistrate. Don't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You wake up that magistrate and say, hey, I got it. I'm bringing a man or woman in. Okay? And the magistrate must meet up and you do your, in this case, what they're calling probable cause, but it's examining trial, probable cause within the same scope, I'm led to believe. Okay? But for argument's sake, what they're doing is probable cause, right? Because everything has to do with the officer having probable cause. And remember, y'all, I tell you that officers are executive branch. They cannot make legal determination. They can assume they have probable cause, but they cannot make a legal determination of probable cause and say, I have probable cause. No, that's a legal determination. That's the reason why we go to the magistrate. Or opposed to, according to the state, Texas Constitution and the Code 14, 15, 16. All right, 16 is really has to do with the magistrates, okay, during this part, right? And this is actually how it's supposed to be by their codes. And this is what Texas is ignoring, I am led to believe and do believe, 99% of the time, okay? You guys out there in Texas, if you ever been charged for anything, tell me if this is not a true or false, okay? And leave it in a comment because I really want to know. I have not been a criminal. I do not know their particular orders. You know, I've been to jail over tickets and this, that, here. Also been to jail and took care of their fines by me sitting overnight in jail for another person that had the same name. And woke up the next day, went to see the magistrate, and they said, time served, it's taken care of, and I still have no knowledge what I did wrong. I took care of somebody else's ticket or warrant. Let me rephrase that, of their bench warrant, but it wasn't me. So an innocent man took care of another man's ticket, okay, or alleged man. However, I digress, okay, because this is pretty serious here in Texas. He then turn it off. All right, so if you guys want to check him out, all right, and from my understanding, they're still working on this process, and what I've seen on the videos, yeah, he's innocent. All right, but that being said, even though you go to the magistrate and argue your case, they still are on the cop's behalf, and that's one-sided. Magistrate should recuse themselves if they cannot be for one and or the other. They cannot be just one-sided under their rules that they are allowed to break. At. Public road past the empty parking lot, the initial drive in the empty parking lot, 5 parking spaces, and then came to a stop slowly. So the initial violation and possession occurred on public roadway. Oh, you're talking about Cody. Okay, other than charging him with the state code section of carrying a loaded firearm in, that's over So at this point, just for clarification, just in case you're on a small phone or whatever, the officer is making his plea, his claim, okay, of his belief of probable cause. All right. I don't know if it's on here or if I'm gonna record it, but he admits that it was 1 minute that he had his lights on while the guy was going into a parking lot and all that. It was 1 minute. So on an average basis, 60 miles an hour, okay, it takes 1 minute to go 1 mile. Okay, so even if he was going 60 miles an hour, it takes a little bit to stop and all that. So 1 minute wasn't very long in the first place, and the guy got charged for basically running the cop, right? And there's no law specifically saying directly how long can this be, but it does say for the person to be in a safe environment, right? So there we go again.
It was a 10-round magazine, so it didn't reach that 20 capacity standard. And yes, so then outside of that, transport him here to the Justice Center. When did the firearm come back as stolen? On the, let me double check, I believe it was the 13th. Yes, July. I apologize, it was stolen on Chesterfield in July. I apologize. Alright, so you heard the officer's testimony. Like I said, I'm going to be an opportunity to speak to me. You're not required to talk to me, and I don't want to get speak to you, so I'm speaking to me. I'll speak around law enforcement here. Okay. Statements of what you say to you get to your okay. You doesn't tell me your side of the story in this matter, and it's hard to swear you might let you dogs. Okay, yes. Alright, do you swear to tell me the truth? Yes, ma'am. Alright, what would you wish me to know in this matter? This officer told me he was going to be completely transparent with you about what happened during the time he first saw me, which was probably about a week ago. He said he didn't, for some reason, he told you he didn't have no type of contact with me, but that was not true. He did. He saw me open carrying my firearm legally. He made a statement.
All right, so I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, maybe, and see if about. Well, anyway, that being said, now the magistrate gets to hear his case. Okay, this is what the Texas Code's supposed to be about. Whether the magistrate accepts it or not, Texas is deliberately denying due process because none of us is doing this process by the code in Texas, which means if they are not going through this process, everybody in jail is illegally there. Okay? He is allowed to plead his case of the probable cause. And Texas is just completely ignoring it. Completely bypassing it. Apparently this is Pennsylvania. But that doesn't change the fact that here in Texas, the conviction rate is 99%. And a lot of this has to do with this. Now, let's hear what they had to say about this.
Re-engage into it, and it almost did, but if you look at the video, the magistrate stopped him because she basically knew that he was about to incriminate himself while on body camera, and it was unfortunate that she stopped him, but she knew what she was doing.
Everyone said I'd have to leave my job to earn a marketing degree. Everyone except...
And that is true, and magistrates will protect their security guards. Right? That's what they are, policy enforcers. They're not law enforcers, and they're security guards for the city, state, and county. That's all it is. Okay? Not as that's bad enough to be qualified immunity or anything. They still just kind of protect them.
Civil rights. It's not up to me or my meets the criteria of the crime.
Okay, well, I wasn't finished.
Only a judge.
See, now that's the funny thing is, right? The evidence that he provided, he didn't provide any evidence at all. It was his word against another guy's word, but there was no evidence. What this guy should have done, maybe, okay, not attorney, not giving legal advice, magistrate, he's got the body cam. There's evidence, okay, mine and his. So go ahead and watch it. We'll sit here and wait and see if you can make a legal determination that he had probable cause with his body cam. But they won't do that. Why? It's too simple, right? But she's gonna blow him off.
To make that determination if your rights have been violated or anything like that. The law doesn't allow me to make that determination.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish in a little bit.
It hasn't happened in court.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish in a little bit. Also, the officer stated that I was pulled over right after we passed the bridge. Ma'am, it's on camera. The officer didn't activate his license until we got to Popeyes, which is in Chesterfield.
Now, right there, you can kind of see her face. She's basically just going, oh, God, hurry up and shut up so I can go about my day, right? Now, that being said, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. I've always went to jail at night. So, could this happen during the daytime? Could have. No evidence, because I know people that went to jail and they didn't get this done, okay? And when you did see a magistrate, it's usually by yourself. The officer's not sitting there arguing the case of the probable cause. Again, violation of due process. Who's the accuser, right? Your Sixth Amendment. I have a right to face my accuser. Okay? I need the officer's peer. But that's been blown off. But at least right here, he's getting to face his accuser, and they're kind of arguing their case in front of a magistrate, which is way more than Texas is doing. Absolutely. Okay? Allegedly. And I'm not making a legal determination. Okay? It's just my belief and my educational view. Okay? But anyway, I know I've been rambling and all this kind of stuff. With Texas, that magistrate has 48 hours to issue a writ. Okay? If that magistrate does not issue a writ within that 48 hours, that according to Texas law, criminal codes, that the case is dropped and cannot be brought back. Which, in other words, is dismissed with prejudice. Okay? Again, they're violating that law. Right? So the whole judicial branch, allegedly, is actually breaking state law here in Texas and by bypassing everybody's due process. And everybody says we have due process. Not in Texas, y'all. It's absolutely false and misleading. And due to our lack of knowledge, we've been ran over of our due process. But this is way it's supposed to be during the beginning. Now, that being said, there's no legal standing on magistrates. Magistrates technically don't even exist. All right? The judicial branch came up with somebody, basically a clerk, and saying, hey, you're a high-priced clerk, and you're going to kind of filter everything out